Next, enter name is over. Now we say the user to enter to print now we print ask the user to enter the is ID. So we say enter ID and we scan the ID with the help of scanf. Now this is easy. %d. Here we use the ampersand sign because this is not a string. Ampersand, the same code as we did it before. S of I dot name. Sorry, not name, it's ID. S of I dot ID. Okay. So one thing we didn't notice in this program while doing it is we start the program is void main, structure student s and the number is n. Now when we declare int n, default value will be stored as 0, and when we say struct student s, this array will be assigned 0 elements, that is just one element it can store, because we have taken the input of n after the structure student. So this is unfair because it will be stored as 0, and then when the user enters the number of employees n, it will be used later. So this is unfair, so we cannot declare it over here. We need to declare this structure after the printf, or after we accept n from the user. Now it's safe to declare it. So now we have asked the user to enter his name, his ID. Next we need to what we can say is we need to display it. As the question says, we need to display it with the help of structure by passing the structure to a function display. So the display statement will come outside the for loop. It will be dis. We have defined a function prototype over here, so let's write with the help of comments function prototype. So now we are going to use the function display, because as the program says, we need to use the function display to print the output of whatever we have entered. We need to print it. We have given the function prototype void display student s1. So now what the mistake I've made is actually we have defined structure employee, and by mistake we have taken structure student over here. It's employee. Please correct that. Employee, and year 2. Here it's fine. Next. So now we need to use the display. So we use it as display. Now we are going to call display, and the parameter we are using here is, see, we have used structure s throughout. So now what we need to want is, I need s.name, I need s.id, so I want to display s. Now we need to define the structure. Now we need to define the function display. So that is the main part, to define the function display and input structure as the function parameter. So void display. Now input is general parameter struct employee s. Struct employee, say it as s1. Because here also we have used s1 in the function prototype, so we say it as s1. So now we need to input what the function does. So again we need to use a for loop to print the statements. Because if n is entered, suppose like 3, so these statements will get executed 3 times, like enter name, enter id, again enter name, enter id, and the third time enter name, enter id. So the same thing we need to print it in that way. So we need to print it using the for loop. Enter, because the name should be displayed as much as time it is printed. Okay, so we use the for loop. Okay, now we use the concept of reusability. We will again use I, because by the time display is called, there is no further need of the I. For the need of I, we can always use J, but it's a good programming habit to use the same function, to use the same variable again. It saves memory. So we say I equal to 0, whatever be the value. Like I is going to be 2 at the end of this loop. Okay, but now here again we are initializing it to 0, so it doesn't depend what is the end value of I at the, what is the value of I at the end of this loop. Okay, so we use I equal to 0, I less than n, I less than n, I plus plus. Okay, I plus plus. Okay, so now in this for loop we need to print these values. So we say printf name is %s, so we say %s and id is %d. Okay, now we need to input values what %s and %d refer. So it's going to be okay. This is again tricky. Now what do we want is in the first loop, suppose I have entered I equal to 0. Okay, then enter name. Okay, suppose I have entered Sam and s of 0 dot name. Okay, Sam will be stored in s of 0 dot name. So in this case too, for I equal to 0, I need name should be Sam and ID should be something like 12. Okay, so to enter %s as Sam, again we need to use s of I dot name. Okay, because s of 0 dot name and here too s of 0 dot name will get access, so both cases Sam is going to get printed. So we say s of 0 not 0, s of I dot name, because 0 I is 0, so this is going to be s of 0 dot name. Okay,